Hey, welcome everybody to Good Buddy Comics. I've got a feedback. This is great. Starting off the right way. No, no. We are very happy to have Comic Art Fans' very own Bill Cox on the show with us. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Thank you for having me on, Dustin. And nice to see you both here as well. How did you guys come up with the name Good Buddy Comics?
Funny enough, so we were originally Scotty Talk. And that we met at Heroes 2025 and we're like, we love Scotty Young. Let's just do a show about him. And then we started having more people on. It was like, okay, we feel odd having people on to a show that's another person's name. So Dustin was actually kind of the catalyst for it because we had Derek Loffman on, an artist he brought up in his when he was on your show showing off the artwork that he collected, and so he referred
the Canadian Bill, the Canadian.
Yeah, the Canadian, exactly. And he referred to him as Good Buddy, and like ever since then we kept calling him Good Buddy, and so I was coming up with names and trying not to step on toes because there's so many podcasts and things that exist, and I was like, it just fits our ethos of having good buddies on, chatting with people and all that kind of stuff. And then the thumb kind of came from that as well. So yeah, I give all credit to Dustin and his nickname for Derek there. So
yeah, Alberto. I recognize Alberto's name from one Bill show. So yeah, he interviewed it.
Off with a question, so he's giving me a hard time. I get it. I have another question for you. Who did the corner box art for you?
Me. Oh, well, so I came with the corner box, but funny enough, my wife, I asked her to draw myself and Dustin in the style of Scotty we did a reading of I Hate Fairyland. And so as a surprise to Dustin, I wanted us drawn on the I Hate Fairyland 1 cover with our faces. So she does such a great job. She replicated his style so well. So yeah, I had it printed and sent off to Dustin. So
yeah, let's see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a little nod to Scotty still, since that's how we got started on this adventure. So,
well, your hair is drawn perfectly, Tyler. And Dustin, I have no idea if your hair was drawn properly or not. The eyes, I'll go with the
eyes. Tyler's got that coif that's just so perfect up there. I love it. I wish. I'm very envious of Tyler's hair. And he kind of gave you the PC version of it. The reality for Good Buddy is we kept calling Derek Loffman Good Buddy until it got awkward. So we had to find a way to make it fit in with our show. So, and it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Derek is a good buddy now. We think the world of Derek. So it's stuck and we like it. And we try to like anybody that comes on the show. It's not as much an interview as just a hangout. So we make it very informal, very silly. So
yeah. So I was going to say, before we get into the show, we open up the club because everyone who joins our show becomes a good buddy. So you are now a Good Buddy certified member. So you can get a sticker. We'll make stickers eventually to give to people for fun. So
there's the old sticker. Old one, yeah, but we will have a new sticker for you, Bill. Are you going to be at Heroes this year, Bill?
I will be.
We'll give you a sticker at Heroes then.
Perfect.
If we can
slap it on my portfolio, I'll be a true portfolio carrying member of the Good Buddy certified team.
That's awesome. That's an honor for us. So no, we've joked about it. We did our OAX show. It was like how fast you are at these shows. Like you see you in one spot and you like teleport to another spot within like 30 seconds. It's amazing how quick you move at these shows, Bill. It's an amazing talent.
Well, it shows there's always something going on. He needs attention, whether it's something related to security or, the drinks and the lunches aren't there yet. And unfortunately, we have a lot of great volunteers who do most of the running around. So I don't have to run around as much as maybe Kesra and I had to do in year 1, for instance. So
yeah,
but it is what it is. You want everything to go right. And I think all my life I've been, somebody who likes to kind of put together events. I think probably is my way of compensating for being relatively shy. If I can, have a group of people around me, it makes my life easier and lets me feel like an extrovert for a little while. So, yeah. But you just want to you want to take care of stuff. But no, it's fun. And at the same time, trust me, while I'm doing work, I'm also trying to enjoy the show. This last show in February, we really Kesra and I had a lot more time to just go out and talk to people, and we'd still feel like it wasn't enough. Yeah, there are actually back hallways where I could literally dart into one of those and get to almost any spot in the DoubleTree Hilton's rooms that they have for the events. That if I want,
awesome.
I've never used one yet though.
Oh well. Well, it was amazing because I had picked up, so I had purchased some art earlier in the year, and I was picking it up from OAX, and I was waiting up front. You had told me you'd meet at a certain time, and I talked to Tyler, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to meet Bill." He said, "Well, I just saw Bill. He was over like on the other side of the hall." He's like, "There's no way he's going to meet you at the time." And I looked up, and I was like, "I'm staring at him, Tyler. I'm looking at him." So I think you were cloned or something, but it was pretty amazing just how quick you could navigate the hall and
It's like Dan
take
said,
care of
yeah, the
everybody.
BAMF. You just teleport.
That's exactly right. Nightcrawler power, indefinite. So.
Exactly. No, well, sometimes, there's a few CAF members out there who will throw on, a wig that's about the same length as my hair, and
Oh,
they will double as me during
yeah.
Dan Goodwin isn't one of those because he's like, 6'8", so nobody would mistake him for
Oh
me.
gosh.
But there's a few people who have donned the wig for me, I think, over the years.
So we are all Bill Cox. We need that shirt there. So.
You're gonna make me end up having to make a sticker special for Heroes just for all the people who've helped me out over the years.
Oh no, I'm sure they enjoyed it as much as you enjoy having them help you out because OAX is such a smoothly run show. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this Comic Art Live that you got because this is the third. It's hard to believe this is 13. We're going to get into that a little bit more, but yeah, I mean, you really know how to put on a show very well, whether it be virtual or in person. So you said that kind of you've always had a kind of a passion for putting events together. Was there ever anything put together prior to OAX or I mean back before you let's go back 10, 20 years ago. Have you ever put any shows together prior to these big shows that we talked about? Oh, sorry.
I was going to skip. No, that was a meme.
No,
yeah, well, there was, during the pandemic prior to OAX, I think when we were first coming out of the pandemic, I did host a large meetup in Columbus that was more of an overnight thing because they had the Marvel exhibit was there. We were all coming out of the pandemic, and I just said, I'm going here. Anybody who wants to make something of this, let's all get together. It's our first time out. And that grew into a mini show. I think we ended up having between 45 and 50 people show up for that, and I ended up renting a very small hall for and made it into an art show. So there's that. And prior to that, everybody who's in the chat who's familiar with my history, I built my own miniature golf course and did that in 2008. And I did it because I was new to the city that we had just moved to. My son was, I think at the time, 2008, he would have been like 10, and my daughters were probably 4 and 1 or 2. And going into a new community in a small town, I felt like, yeah, look at that hair. That's
I was waiting for you to say
that. We had somebody on previous. Was it Matt Sardo? Somebody was like, man, I got to ask Bill about this hair because it looks glorious. So
it was glorious that day. That's why we took that photograph, because it was never going to look that good again.
You got to document it.
Yeah, it was. My hair was probably about like 8 inches longer than it is right now. But that was during the pandemic too. That was around 2022, 2020.
It all muddies together there.
Yeah, I didn't go to I mean, nobody went to get their haircuts back then. No. I mean, come on, Dustin, you probably had long hair in 2022.
I did. Before I had kids, I had really long hair. But the miniature golf course now, was that a public course or was that something that you just built for
no, it was. We
okay, I thought
I've done a lot of dumb things in my life, and that was one of the bigger ones. But
that sounded awesome. I was like really impressed by that.
A lot of work.
Growing up, I'm in my late 50s now, so it was every kid's dream to either own an arcade or own a miniature golf, right? And
right.
And so you come, that dream never left me. But but being new to the community, I felt like one of the easier ways for people to get to know me was by doing something like that in a public forum. And because I'm working from home, Maureen works from home. My 2 daughters were ended up being homeschooled. So I felt like I wasn't going to meet anybody, in town, especially other business owners. And so we felt like, all right, let's do this, and it was a major undertaking. We had to buy, we bought the property, we didn't lease the property. We bought it and took out amazing amounts of SBA loans to build a course on it. And it was a rough process. And we opened in 2008, the same year that the stock market crashed and everything went in the toilet.
Oh gosh, yeah, the Great Recession.
We had 2 years of absolute hell. But that first year, after, I joined the Chamber of Commerce and done all that. So I got to meet all the local business people. I won like the Business Person of the Year award for 2008 in the town that we were in. So it worked perfectly. Everybody got to know me and my family, and so we I don't know. So people were very happy because small town where there's really nothing like that. Nobody invests in family related stuff these days unless they're I mean, nobody does. I mean, there's no money in it.
Really, so money exactly.
Yeah, and so I felt like we were doing a really good thing for the community, and while it was a big stretch for us because not only now I've got a second mortgage, I have a business loan that's over $250,000, and it all, you can imagine all that starts adding up when you do something like that. So it was stressful, but at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun. We owned it until right before I moved here into Florida. So I think we sold it in 2023, the beginning of 2023.
Oh gosh, so you kept it going for a while. Yeah, through everything that happened.
It was almost 15 years of running it, and
wow,
there was and so I had to work there a lot, at least in the spring and the fall. The summer we'd have enough employees, but we'd open in April and close in October. So I was there almost all the time in April and May and September, October. So it was, so it was a time sink more than anything. I was able to work while I was there, but CAF definitely didn't grow a whole lot during that window when we were very focused on that. But but the similarities between starting the golf course and starting CAF are kind of the same thing. In 2000, like 2001, 2002, I started collecting in '98. So at that time, the hobby was pretty, I don't know, isolated. I mean, people who had been in the hobby for 10 or 15 years, it was kind of like the good old boys club. The dealers, sold art to dealers, and you didn't have the internet either, really, to kind of facilitate, getting to know the, other collectors or dealers or avenues to buy, sell, and trade outside of going to shows. So being new to the hobby there, that CAF started primarily because I felt like if I built a website for people to share their collections, people are going to end up knowing who I am. So it literally was the same. How do I get to know people? How am I going to do this?
I love the way you think.
But again, it's back to me being, more shy and not outgoing. It's like, all right, I've got these things that are working against me just naturally. And if I do something to kind of put myself out there, it ends up helping me get to know people, and CAF did the same thing. So it's kind of, my life has sort of followed that path, I guess.
Well, when CAF got started, how long did it? I mean, those first few years, the traction we see now,
while doing the mini golf and everything too. So,
but even leading up to the 2008 mini golf, where you had like the 2001, 2002 to 2008, how much did CAF grow over those years? Like, how quickly was it an exponential growth, or was it just something that kind of a slow burn at start?
It was sort of slow because nobody had really experienced anything like that before. CAF launched in February of 2003, which was 6 months before Facebook came out. I mean, we all know how crappy Facebook was when it
That's hard to.
And all we had was MySpace, so there was no social site concept out there, and that really wasn't really what CAF was initially built for. With the mind of making a social platform out of it, but it was all new territory, and it was cool because Maureen, myself, and my good friend Chris Haggard were able to, I had my own internet consulting company. I was working for a lot of different companies at the time, a major publisher in Cleveland. I worked for a huge title and escrow company. I was doing a lot of stuff that was pretty boring, but it taught us a lot, especially the publishing company, about building something kind of this scope. So we spent about 6 or 8 months kind of fleshing out the idea and programming it and launching it. But the first 2 years, I'd say even after year 2, there might have only been about 5,000 or 6,000 people who had registered to use the site as a gallery, and probably not all those people, definitely not all those people shared their artworks there, but it did catch on. By 2008, I felt like when I would go to San Diego, people would come up to me and thank me for CAF. So it took a while, but people saw the true benefit to having a place to show off their work. And and little did I know that there were a lot of friendships being formed because of the fact that people would go in, comment on an artwork, or email them about their collection and just say how much they like it. A lot, I didn't pay attention to a lot of that stuff that was going on, but in hindsight, and just in the conversations that I've had really since we started doing live streams in 2020, I have a better appreciation for what CAF meant to people, even as far back as say 2005. And that made that honestly, that's like the best. That makes me feel the most proud of all the things that CAF has been able to do, being able to create those kind of relationships and launch businesses. I mean, you think of all the reps and dealers whose businesses have grown because of the work that we've done. It's all very gratifying. So that's that's kind of how it all kind of got started, from that point. And I'd been out of comics for a while. I didn't start buying comics until like 90. I bought them up till I was in college, couldn't afford comics, and got back into buying comics in like 96. So it was kind of a quick evolution from collecting comics to getting into art.
It was a quick turnaround. Yeah, those a few years of like, all right, I want to get into this and do more. So.
Yeah.
Your background too. So I don't know if this has been brought up, like your education and stuff, and how wide of a variety you've done. You said job wise and stuff. Like, was there a specific field, or like, did you go to college for something specific, or was it just kind of like your life has just been kind of one move after the next into like whichever direction it takes you? It sounds like.
I went to an art school in Massachusetts. So graduated in I'll get my dates all messed up. Graduated in 1991 from Montserrat College of Art. I went there to be an illustrator, but it was one of those highfalutin. You need to be a very cerebral fine artist if you were going to make your way through that. So they beat the illustrator out of me, and I transitioned into doing more sculpture, and as weird as it will sound, I did a lot of performance art, which ties back into I'd create events and that would involve like the whole class. And so same kind of thing, I mean, I had a few close friends in college, but when you're in a room full of creatives that are as good as you or better, or or whatever, I it's intimidating. So I did a lot of things that were that again would involve the whole group. Like my senior project was I essentially built boats for every person in the class, small boats.
Wow.
I mean, talking like 2 foot long boats that were made out of you name it, a lot of different materials. And there was a lake nearby, and I put those that's what I can't remember the name of the brand, but the rocket engines in them. So they were built to put them out on the lake. And so I built it as a regatta, got a lot of people who weren't in my class to go out to that. And we just launched them and documented it. That was the other big thing was, we had 2 or 3 people with Super 8 cameras and Polaroids, and we wanted to make it as if it was an official sort of
an actual event.
And so so you look at that, and that's
awesome.
It really starts back at that point, right, where I'm just doing things to involve a lot of people. Like I had good friends that would do these things with me and tag along and be a part of it. So community organizer from the very, very beginning. And
so you said performing arts. I didn't want to get too far away from that. I mean, anybody that's watched Dueling Dealers knows that you can do a good act. Tyler, I'm not sure how much you've watched it, but the little clips that you and the guys do of like the performance, that's some of the best parts of the show. I mean, even if you don't bid on anything, those are worth watching for. How did those come about?
Yeah, well, just the Dueling Dealers was like lightning in a bottle. We when we first started streaming in 2020, and I was doing most of those shows with Mike Berkey, Glenn Brunswick, and Will Gabrielle, because I was afraid to do a show on my own where we were interviewing. So we were it would be the 4 of us and one person we would be interviewing. but it worked, But as the show, as we found out pretty quickly, you know, I would go to him and I'm like, I think we could sell artwork on this channel, you know, because it's still the height of the pandemic. It's still 2020. And Berkey had done something during one of the interviews. Can't remember what that show. It wasn't even an interview. I think we were doing something about heritage, maybe previewing a show. Yeah, that was the first moments, the first 14 seconds. Ruben the Duck Collector was the first person to put a comment in there, so he was addicted from the moment that, you know, the show started. But the going back to Dueling Dealers, Mike at the end of a show that we did, he just started showing artwork that was like sitting beside him. And while we, you know, and he was just like, it's this. He shows like 30 or 40 pieces. And so we always would talk after the show. And so the show ends and Mike is getting emails about wanting to buy the stuff he was showing. And, guys, we should do a show. We could do artwork. And Glenn and Will were like, once a week is enough, Bill. We don't want to like overdo it. And I'm like, no. And Berkey, he's like, yeah, let's do this. This will be fun. And those guys were like, no, we're not going to do it. And so I kind of, you know, tamped that down a little bit, and I never forgot about it. And one night, something similar must have happened, and it just hit me. I'm like, you know, I don't want to do a sales show with just one person. And of course, I do that all the time now. But I was more worried at that point. It's the pandemic, and we can talk about how that relates to Comic Art Live. But you know, my goal during the early parts of the pandemic were that I wanted everybody, you know, Cal came about because I was worried about my clients, the reps I work with, the dealers I work with. How are they going to make money? How are their artists going to make money? And I wanted to work with everybody. And so the concept of a sales show and only working with one person at a time, it was like, there's no way that can work. And I couldn't figure out a way around that. And then at the end of the show, it just hit me. I'm like, I can have two people on at a time, and we can make it a contest. And there, you know, where there'll be a winner and there'll be a loser, and it'll be fun because everybody wins. And the two people I knew that would be perfect for that, and I'm talking with Mike while I'm coming up with the ideas, is I'm like, it's got to be Anthony, because Anthony's Cam, and putting him up against you, you know, you're always trying to be funny, whether you're funny or not. But putting you two together, and me in between these guys would just be funnier than heck, right? And
it is.
Yeah. So we had, you know, I grew up on Friday night horror movies, and you know, Saturday morning we had Superhost in Cleveland, and we had Big Chuck and Little John and Big Chuck and Houlihan on Friday nights. And definitely the Friday night shows, they always did these silly skits, you know, like after the commercial break or before the commercial break, or after you would cut to a skit before you would cut to showing Big Chuck and Houlihan sitting there, you know, talking about the horror movie that they're watching. And it would, you know, it'd be there was this song called like The Streak, and so they have a guy who had underpants, you know, and this is done in, like, you know, again, this is the 80s, you know, early 80s, you know, where they would have this guy running through grocery stores and stuff and just doing stupid stuff. And then you had like and so I thought, we can slowly integrate comedy into the skits as well. I mean, why not? It's now the beginning of 2021, and how can we make things fun? Because nobody's having fun right now, you know. And I'm just trying to figure my way through it. So the skits really, you know, came about because I had two very willing participants, Dr. DeMatt, exactly, you know, that were and Goulardi, you know, that was another one. Predates Big Chuck and Houlihan. And so it was a great creative outlet for me. I had done a lot of, you know, when I started doing web design and things, I got to do a lot more of the design side of stuff. And so for me, it was just the opportunity to kind of live a dream. There, we literally, after like episode 2, Mike and I shot like 2 hours where, you know, we're just sitting there. I'm recording him so that we can make these just dumb skits where he's ripping a piece of paper in half that looks like it was an 11 by 17 piece of art, right? And we have him green like he's the Hulk, and I turn him green. But in the recordings of all of that, you know, I'm laughing. I'm like, dude, we're gonna be like rock stars. This is the funniest thing ever. You know, we're both in, you know, early 50s, and people are gonna think we're so stupid. We're funny, and you know, and it's gonna be hilarious. And we have it all, you know, it's all recorded, and it was. So it was, you know, again, it was a very creative point in time for us. And for me, it was great because it involved the whole family too, because my Maureen or the kids would film skits with me, or well, Maureen never did, but the kids would, or they would help shoot the clips. We had to go out and buy green screens, and we went all over.
Did it right.
Our first, we did that Do episode, right? The Doozy Do episode where we made a whole story about it. No, but even before that, we did Billigan's Island.
Well, I was going to ask you about Billigan, because I did not see your hair in Billigan. How did you pull that off?
I tucked it all in the hat. I just,
did you?
Right. You can see my hair there. That in 2020, you can see how long it was. That's when the photograph was taken.
Wow. It looks. I was like, does Bill have a brother? Is it what's going on?
No.
Billigan was great.
But the thing is, so much of what we did was defined or came about because of the chat. Somebody in the chat called me Billigan, or it might have even been Berkey. I don't know. But so many of the ideas, we would just riff off of what the chat was saying back to us, or and so we were giving them exactly what they wanted, and they didn't know it. Like when we did the Billigan's Island episode, it took us like 3 or 4 weeks to, I still have all the storyboards and things that we, because we had to literally film me at my house, Berkey at his house, Anthony and Sharon, in their warehouse. All of them had to have green screens, and then we had to pull it all together, and include my daughters as Ginger and Marianne. But but again, so now it's back to I'm involving a lot of people in the production of something, and we're all putting our own input into it to make it be more funny. I wish those episodes got more views when we would post them, but like it would be a 5-part story, say a minute and 20 seconds for each part, and then we would show the first part after. Well, we would start the show with an intro. Then after round 2, we'd have part 1. After round 4, we would have part 2. So at the end of the day, so there's 5 parts to get through 10 rounds, and then we would put all 5 pieces together and post that. So that we did Billigan's Island. We did the Scooby-Doo episode. We did an episode of we did the Star Wars episode, which I think to this day is the one I'm most proud of.
That's awesome.
It was, but again, it was all just fun, and it was all really playing off of things that were happening live, and it was great because a lot of the artwork I ended up picking up, I would buy on the show afterwards, because people would be, like a Hulk with pearls is the dumbest thing anybody had ever heard of, and and nobody wanted it because they thought it was so stupid. And the show's over, I'm like, I'm buying it.
I'm taking it.
Well, I'm like, because that's the thing. I will always remember that episode, where everybody made fun of this piece of artwork, and I get to be the proud owner of it after it's over. So
Indiana Jones one, someone's referencing.
Oh my gosh, I forget the Bindiana Jones. They all were classics. That's right.
Need to go back and find. We have to bump these up so everybody can go back and relive them, because I think now there'd be so many more views because you've gained such a huge following for your show.
Well, you'd think, but the complete episodes almost hardly have it's criminal, the fact that they don't have enough views. But you're right, the Indiana Jones thing was fun. But how did that come about? We did I did a show with Mike, and we had a bin in front of us, and we were pulling art out of it, and somebody they didn't say Bindiana Jones, or something like that. It was like Mike and I probably talking afterwards. Like the bin dive was fun because they were like, we're gonna do a bin dive. Felix coined the art drops, right? So we coined bin dives, and then like we could do an episode where we're looking for art. Wait a minute, and then Bindiana Jones came from that, and just coming up with ways to film. Berkey and I were I'm riding the motorcycle and he's in the sidecar. I mean, it's so dumb, and there's so many things we didn't that stayed on the cutting room floor. Like we filmed it where I disconnected the thing and he went off, and we never. I have it recorded, and we never actually did it, or showed it to everybody. But there's just so much fun stuff that came out of that, because I would go, with the pandemic still going on, but I would go over to his house and we would film a lot of it together, and it was great.
Well, I was going to ask you if you live close to Berkey, because I know he before you relocated south, so you all lived relatively close to each other and was able to shoot a lot of these together.
Yeah, he lived about 45 minutes south of me. I lived.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
No, not at all. I mean, so I got to go over to the Ramita Mansion many times, and
that's a good joy to see.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was great. You know, Sharon and Anthony were fantastic throughout all that, and again, I got to involve the kids in almost every one of those shows that we did. I mean, you go back and watch the Doozy Doo episode, you know, with Scooby Doo, and the girls are, you know, I mean, they were great. When I see any photographs from that time, we were just having so much fun, and you know, I can pinch myself to think that, you know, I got to do these things and get to do them with my family, and then have everyone who got to watch the shows, you know, enjoy them just as much as we got to do them. And I don't know, you know, I don't know. You'd like to think you can do them again, but it's just like that happened then, and so I'm looking at like, well, you know, what are the
capturing what
next
you can now, yeah.
Right. So, but we all, I mean, you know, Carl was there. I mean, Jeff was there. You know, Rich Danny's was there. I mean, we all got to see it and have fun with it. We sold a ton of art.
Oh yeah.
You know, through the shows. I mean, we had shows where we were selling $60,000-$80,000 of art in a night, because at that point, people couldn't. There's no shows to go to. You know, you can't go out to a con, and those guys were like holding back artwork just for those shows. And you know, but it was fun, because like almost immediately people wanted to be on the show and replace, you know, Anthony or Mike, and so it really did exactly what I hoped, was that we could interchange people with it.
Yeah.
And I always felt like, you know, kind of going into it, that I wouldn't be, I didn't want to do it all the time either. I felt like, you know, this would be good to let other people, and it didn't happen that way, but you know, we've had other hosts of the shows when needed, but I felt like having everybody be kind of interchangeable was great. But almost from the get-go, we had Dino, Mauricio, and Jordan Joanna want to come on the show as an amateur doing
the amateur art.
and that one was incredible, you know, where you literally, Dino brought a John Byrne page that was kind of, I think it was a She-Hulk page, but it was like the retelling of Phoenix, or, you know, destroying planets or something, and literally like 20 people wanted to buy it, and it was $15,000, and you had the chat just went boom, you know. So whenever you see somebody say in the chat, claim 15 Dino, that was why, because
okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. And the thing, so every single show,
Carl.
just so, yeah, there we go. We by the third or fourth show, I couldn't do the show by myself, because the chat was so raucous that I couldn't I couldn't keep up with it. And so by like episode 4, Maureen, I think, you know, it was just Maureen in the studio, and then it was Maureen and my oldest daughter Gwen, because like Maureen would just be handling changing the timer and the dollar amounts for people, because we were using, I can't even remember what software program. Should be able to see it on my desktop, but I'm not gonna find it. But point is that we had to have somebody who was kind of monitoring that, and then somebody who was actually monitoring the chat, because you would always have 3 or 4 or 5 people trying to claim something at the same time. And I could not keep up with, you know, managing 2 large personalities and showing the artwork and then paying attention to the chat. So again, like for those first 2 years of that show, every Wednesday night was you know, Maureen, Gwen, and I getting together to run this thing. And typically the week leading up to it, we were doing 3 to 6 new memes that they were helping me film. So yeah, it was cool. It was definitely you know, it's a bit of comic art fans and internet history, but it was a wonderful time. It definitely
I love that. I mean, it's so that's what we love. We love having people on and getting to hear, like you said, the conversations and getting to the history of things, and again, just seeing you relive it yourself, like how fun and awesome those moments were, and obviously what you contribute to that, and again, your personality, and like you said, bringing people together and creating these events that get other people involved, and it's just kind of like a domino effect. So
yeah, and I knew we were onto something. Maybe, you know, we started, our first stream was the week before the first Comic Art Live, so it was maybe the second week in May of 2020. And you know, I did that one just because I knew we were going to have panels for the first show. We did like 4 or 5 panels on Saturday, and then 4 or 5 on Sunday. And by sometime in June, or like so within a month or two, I started seeing people in the chat having their own conversations. They weren't talking to me anymore; they were talking to each other, and that's when I realized this is awesome. Now that they don't need to be here for me, they needed, this place was giving them an outlet as well to meet other collectors or collectors they already knew, and that's when I felt like a channel devoted to just talking about comic art, was, had legs, and it was going to serve the community really well because of that, and I loved it. I had no ego about it. I mean, I was doing it because I needed something to do as well, and I didn't care that they weren't seemingly paying attention to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. It made me feel like, we were doing, really good things, something beyond what you could just do through a website, right? Through ComicArtFans.
Yeah.
And I think all of that eventually, is what led to the meetup in Columbus for the Marvel exhibit, and then to start thinking about what became OAX, and and all of that. So yeah, I don't know.
Quite the journey, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, real quick because we really want to get into comic art. I've got like a dozen more questions about dueling dealers, but we'll save that for another show, Bill.
That's fine. I want to talk about Comic Art Live too.
we went. Tyler had mentioned this, and I was like, oh yeah, we just wanted to. This was all over Comic Art Live today. Comic Art Fans, the social media sites, the Jack Kirby Street naming. So, what was your all's involvement in this? From
I mean, I can't. We outside of the Kirby Awards and our relationship with the Kirby family now, and in the Kirby Museum, of course. We didn't. All we were, we're just there to help promote. I mean, that we knew about it.
Great job.
Yeah, exactly. And Kirby's the king, right? I mean, I think when we first started OAX, and we were just, the first show hadn't even happened. Kezra and I were talking about like what would, I think I said, would be an awards ceremony. We're trying to think like, well, what can we add to a show like OAX? And so awards ceremony was one of the things that eventually came up. And and I knew that back in the 80s that there was a Kirby Awards that had happened. And I said, it wouldn't be nothing else would be worth doing outside of trying to redo that, bring it back in a more relevant to today. That was the idea. And I'll be honest, after that, I had nothing to do with it because Kezra did everything. He started talking with the museum and reaching out to the Kirby family, and none of that happens without Kezra working his butt off for almost 2 straight years to make the first Kirby Awards happen in February. But just knowing, what are the roots of the hobby, where how there's no name better associated with an awards than Jack's, and it almost seemed criminal that for almost 40 years there wasn't a Jack Kirby Awards, right? I mean, I think everybody just avoided it and gave it to, you have the shoes for, right? I mean, so many other awards, and all deserving, but it felt odd, right? So this fit, and fortunately, Kezra was able to work a whole lot of magic and blood, sweat, and tears, and we got what we got. So, but with the street naming, it's things like that are overdue. I think the narrative arts are finally getting recognized for their importance in society, and just as art, when you find out that most art collectors, learned how to read from reading comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Comics have an important place in society, and they're globally accepted as more globally accepted today than 30 years ago as something that has had huge societal impact on not only creativity, but I don't know, just giving illustrators another outlet to flex their muscles. I mean, and I think we see the Lucas Museum finally open in September. We're going to see more and more people see the relevance and gain appreciation for what comics have meant to them. It doesn't matter if you're reading an old Disney comic, a Charlton comic, for up to something written by Daniel Warren Johnson today. I mean, the thing is that it's a, I mean, and it's not, it doesn't even just stop there. You think about all the anime and manga books that are out there today that are more well read.
Really
such a big influence.
Published here in the U.S., comics are important, and I'm excited to see where OA collecting and the appreciation for the narrative arts is going to go in the next 3 or 4 years once even more attention is put on it, thanks to what George Lucas has managed to put together in California. And indie comics, Dan Goodwin, exactly. And Dan Goodwin is a incredible artist of indie comics, and he's doing some amazing traditional work that he'll be debuting at IC3 in Jacksonville this July. So yeah, it's an interesting time. But our involvement there was like I said, it was just how can we support it? Kazra, he did fly up there over the weekend, and he was there for the ceremony today, and it's a wonderful thing.
How did you and Kazra meet? Because he seems integral to like OAX when we were there, and I mean, especially with the Kirby Awards and everything. I was kind of wondering how long that you and him did you know each other before CAF, or?
Oh yeah, he's an early gallery owner on CAF. I met him through there, and we just had a lot of sort of similar interests in work outside of comic book artwork. I mean, he kind of leans heavily into like the painterly artists, like the George Pratts and those sorts of folk. And I love illustration art. I started working on a side project that I'm co-owner of called Infected by Art. It's like it's very similar to the Spectrum book that they don't do anymore. It's like an art competition, but for illustration. And so, I mean, believe it or not, I mean, probably like in my first year of doing that, and we're on book 14 now. I started on the second one, but maybe like the third or fourth book, I actually approached Kazra about working together. I'm like, is there any way that we might be able to do something together on this? And we didn't. We came up with, but we, of course, so we knew each other more through CAF because of that. But as when I first moved here to Florida was right before the 20th anniversary of CAF, so that's February 2023, and I had a meet up here at the house, and Anthony and Mike came down, and a lot of local collectors came. People travel. We ended up having like 35, 40 people here at the house.
That's
but
really cool.
Kazra was one of them. I hadn't talked to him in several years. But he had emailed me, asking if he could come, and I'm like, of course, I want every local collector to come. So he was living in Orlando, and at that get together, we I told him that I'm starting a show. I really hadn't done a lot of planning for it, but I said at that time, I've been waiting for this. I wanted to wait till I got to Orlando, because coming from Cleveland, the area, I knew that I wasn't going to start a show in a place. I didn't want to start a show in the Cleveland area just because, it just didn't feel right. I wanted it to be someplace that people would want to go, and and I knew I wanted to be off con season, so it had to be in the winter, and so it had to be someplace warm. And knowing that we were going to move to Orlando, I was waiting until I got my feet on the ground there to really start thinking about it. But my idea of what that show was going to be was, I know I can get Mike and Anthony to come. I'm friends with at least a dozen or so artists, and if I could rent out a 5,000 square foot space to just do the first one, that was what I was going to do, because that's what I could manage, right?
Right.
And so I know I talked to conveyed all that to Kazra, and like after that meetup, we just started talking. I could tell he was very interested in the show, and and working with me on it, and so we just started talking from there. And I mean, CEO kind of concept didn't really come up too often until right around the time we started ticket sales, so like June of that year. But we talked constantly from the meetup in February until that point, and didn't consummate that for a while after that. But that's kind of the genesis of that.
Okay.
But yeah, and if I didn't have someone else to work with, the first OAX wouldn't have been as large as it was.
It's just raising chickens with a fallback plan. Sorry, that made me snicker.
Yeah.
So,
they
we love our
no, it's
chickens.
not a fallback plan. I can't, in some ways I can't wait for their 3-year lifespan to pass. But yeah, so that's all. So the thing is that, it's really the kind of path that we've been on. You can accomplish more when you have a bigger team, right? And they're just, and I was fine with that. I mean, we could have continued on as we had. CAF really didn't need to grow. I mean, it put food on the table, and it's paid for my kids' college, so they didn't have to take out student loans. And
that's really
I could
cool.
have coasted. I could have coasted, with CAF for the remainder of my my working days had I wanted to. And but I really felt like there's a lot more to, there's a lot more things that CAF can do that again, it's back to like building the miniature golf course. Just people won't. The arts aren't necessarily something that a lot of people put a lot of time into, because in most cases there isn't a lot of money to be made. I mean, and there isn't. I mean, you really have to work hard for it. And so it was a leap of faith for me to essentially change a lot of the way the business structure was, and to say, all right, I'm going to hire somebody to be my boss. I'm going to, we're going to work together really closely, but I'm going to change everything. And so we did that. And yeah, it's been kind of a fun ride ever since. I mean, but yeah, without having done that, we wouldn't have OAX as it is today. We wouldn't have IC3 out there as something that's going to become really relevant to not only the indie community but to art collecting. And I think it's just we're creating an avenue for artists who might not get recognized too often at a show to have relevance, right? They're participating in Comic Art Live and all those things. And it's exciting.
It's exciting for us to witness and to watch from the outside, because it's so cool to see that push and to see the rise of more indie stuff, and that goes across like all different genres, like video games, comics, all that kind of stuff. Because like you said, there's such as wide as the internet is, it's still too easy to kind of fall between the cracks or not get recognized. And what you and Kezra and then Matt Sardo and Jamie and other people we've gotten to know and talk to, doing stuff like this is really awesome to see and be a part of, even just from an attending point of view. So it's really cool to see all this kind of stuff get the kind of movement that it's doing because of people like you and Kezra and what y'all are doing. So
no, thank you. I mean, that's again, we transitioned the company last fall to a public benefit corp because we firmly believe in the idea that the arts are important to life at the end of the day. I mean, that's a philosophy that Kezra and I have always had. I've always had a very altruistic view of life, and it's not all about money and fame and those sorts of things. If you can make your community stronger and better, in ways that involve creativity, then the world's a better place. And it all sounds kind of sappy, but it's the truth. And and again, I'm getting I wanted to be a comic book illustrator when I was a kid. When I went to school initially, that's what I wanted to do. And so now I get to work in this field in a way that isn't quite what I wanted to do when I was younger, but it's the best place for me today, and one that I can have good influence over. And with Kezra and the team, it's so much easier. And and we have a lot of other things planned. It's not like we're stopping here, but the move to being the public benefit corp was important because we're working with a lot more nonprofits, and we want to align ourselves with other entities. We're we are a for-profit company, but we wanted to make sure that people understood that our philosophical approach to business thinks about the community and the creatives that are in it, and how to strengthen everyone within it. Everyone has to win, and we have to promote the arts in a meaningful way, and that's what we're doing.
It's 100%. And it's something, it's interesting because you bring that up, because I too also wanted to be a comic book artist growing up, and having a father who was more left brain doctor, like that didn't end up happening. I'm still a creative and in that field, but it's kind of the same way we're getting to do this show and talk to the creative people that I would have wanted to become or be a part of is still really cool to be able to interact with and connect with. And like you said, just bring all that to the forefront, bring it to other people, connect people, get everybody, you know, together. Cause like you said, without that, it dies off. So without people like yourself, without, you know, the indie comics creator con, you know, without stuff like that to continue to give people those spaces, like you said, it'll, you know, die off, or like it won't, you know, become as big as it should be or can be. So, yeah.
Right. I mean, there's, you know, since the pandemic, a lot of attention has been put on these big ticket sales and things like that. And there's segments of the hobby that stays really focused on the idea that it's all about, you know, money and getting, you know, and having, not even about having the best collection, just having the most assets. And
Yeah.
it'll never be like that. It's never going to be like that for me as a collector. And we're never going to approach the hobby like that. You know, we're not trying to appeal to the top 5% of anything. You know, we work with all of those people, but that's not the mindset. And, you know, and we're not concerned with, you know, the dollars and cents of the outcome of a heritage auction or whatnot. I mean, you know, we work a lot with heritage.
Yeah.
Love the art.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun pastime to watch those shows that you all do, because there's some of those art pieces that none of us will ever be able to afford, but otherwise we won't be able to see them and appreciate them unless there's outlets like you all have.
Giving it the spotlight that you do. Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, I get to live vicariously by looking at all this artwork on CAF. You know, it's,
exactly.
And that's, you know, that's the fun part of you know, having CAF out there. You know, it's got 1.2 million pieces of art on it. All of it is, you know, by and large owned by the people who posted it, and that's just awesome. I get, you know, I go to CAF, as you might imagine, every day, check out the new art posted, see if any of my friends have posted any artwork. I mean, it's great. It's great.
Well,
we have it now. The app's fantastic. I can, you know, we're mobile friendly now. I don't even have to use the app if I don't want to. I can.
That's great.
Just go to the website and appreciate it for what it is. But yeah, so it's it's, you know, it's cliche, but I do feel like you know, we're really just getting started. Even though we've worked, Cat's been working at this for over 3 years, and you know, it's everything still feels pretty new and fresh, and there's always something. There's always a new contact, you know, that comes through. Lots of people want to work with us in different ways, and
I can imagine so.
Yeah, and it's gratifying, you know, and you have a lot of you know, it's not just you know, the dealers and reps and auction houses. You know, the artists want to work with us now. You know, now that there's OEX and Comic Art Live is an opportunity for people to you know, gain exposure, you know, to their work. I mean, we introduced Hall I for the indie artists, I think 3 shows ago, and that's continued to grow. I think we had like 50 artists, indie artists at the last one. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's all I can say.
But it's such a great tool too, because whenever I started the Scotty Young Appreciation Group back in 2019, and really in the early days, all it was like pulling different Scotty's art that people may not have seen. And so much of it came from CAF galleries. And I always tell people, if you post something from a CAF gallery, make sure to give credit to the owner. Like, don't post it as your own art. But without that, having CAF out there as a tool, there's so many pieces of art. And Keith had joked about seeing Scotty's art from my collection, but there's so many pieces of Scotty's art, or one of my favorites, Adam Hughes art, out there that would be lost, you know, out there to black hole collections. Because some people, when they buy this art, I mean, this isn't art that they're ever going to sell. This is going to be passed on from generations on, and then let their kids decide what to do. So without a gallery like CAF, you may never see it. But also on this show, back early on, whenever me and Tyler were first getting started with this show, we did a Scotty for sale show. When it was Scotty Talk, we did like art for sale that was out there. And CAF was a big part of it, because you could go to CAF and type in Scotty Young and then type in for sale by dealer, for sale by, you know, owner. And we were able to pull art and like did a whole show based upon CAF's art that was available for sale for just that one artist. And so CAF Live, or Comic Arts Live, kind of takes that to a whole new level. Because the great thing about it, as we're about to get into that, is I don't know, a lot of people say, well, I've seen CAF, I've seen all this stuff for sale, but how many new pieces do you all have each con? Because there's got to be quite a few.
Oh yeah, it's grown. I mean, the first show might have had 1,500 pieces in it. You know, that was the May 2020 show, but the last last show, I think we reached 7,600, 7,800, somewhere around in there.
Wow.
From almost 400 exhibitors. So a lot, yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, whereas pretty much every other virtual con that tried to start and do something back in 2020, they all kind of sucked. Everybody tried to do it. San Diego tried to do one. San Expo tried to do
Except no substitutes. Yeah.
You're right. They just I don't know. They didn't work. And the thing, why didn't they? Because ours worked because we had the community behind it. The community is the one setting up their booths. The community are the ones going in to buy the artwork or commission an artist. And so we had a built-in base. We already were a 24/7 con, right? I mean, CAF is that every day if you really want it to be, because there's so much art for sale, right? Even in the classifieds, there's 40,000 pieces of art that you can buy there. So we just basically wrapped an event around it, and then made CAF even more relevant by introducing it to to a whole new group of people. So it's so yeah, I mean, we're really just kind of it's not like capitalizing on it, but we just we gave it a name. And 2 weekends a year to celebrate CAF and the community. And it's fun, and every show we've had more artists participate. I have like I reached out to Adam Kubert and Joe Linsner over the weekend, so they're going to have booths. So it's it's not, and we have a lot of other artists that have said they're going to do it. We'll see, but point is that it's going to feel even more like a show than it ever has before, and when it hits this weekend. It's but yeah, it's gratifying. People see the success that we have from the CAF Plus channel and art sale shows, OAX. They know that the audience is there. I mean, for the November show, the 12th Cal, we had 28,000 unique people coming to the site over the weekend. I mean, that's
incredible.
I know it's
the traffic, yeah.
Exactly. And so that's exciting, and knowing that. I think for the last 5 or 6 shows, we've sold cumulatively over $1 million in sales have happened. I think I forget like 1.2 that, and that's across everything. We do sales shows at some of the panels. It's the mystery sketches. I saw Dan Goodwin asked about mystery sketches still being available. Yep, you can still buy those. Yeah, there you go. It's is it still where am I at? Yeah,
I updated it about like 30 minutes before the show.
Okay, so there you go. So we are at 483.
Right, let's get to 500 by the end of the show. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, just for my own edification, when I updated the number this afternoon, I looked at the November sales, and I was like, well, how many sales did we get in the last 5 days? And I won't say what that number is, but if we get the same number of sales, it'll be pretty spectacular. Because in November we sold 409, I think was the final count.
Oh gosh,
for mystery sketches. So we're already at 483, and so we're going to blow the doors off 500 when it's all said and done.
That's
so
awesome.
We look at that.
That's great.
The majority of that money goes straight to the artists. That's
even better.
Fans and Comic Art Live get a small percentage of that. But you're really basically supporting the artists that support the show by doing mystery sketch, and it's a lot of work because I ship a lot of this artwork at the end of the day. I'm kind of dreading it, to be honest with you. But
483 packages.
Yeah,
hopefully some people are buying multiple ones. So.
Well, any of the reps that we work with that are outside of the U.S., we handle the shipping for. So Jiggy's team,
Next Comic
and
Art.
Rizzo is working with us. Yeah, Next Comic Art. With Jiggy. Yoshi's Japan Comic Art Expo. So yeah, I definitely feel like at least 250 pieces of art or more are going to be coming through this office. and it will be a juggling thing, because I like getting it out. I don't want it to sit here too long. So I like to ship it. So, but ideally I'm going to be trying to look at, well, can I get 3 pieces in one package? That, but we'll see. But yeah, so Comic Art Live is this upcoming weekend, the 13th. Our 13th Comic Art Live. People who want to be an exhibitor have to be a premium member of the site. We have a 3-month option where you can do it for $35. There you go. It's $75 a year to be a premium member. And, and you get so many benefits from that. Just the idea that you can both set up a free exhibitor booth to sell artwork that has no commission to Comic Art Live. If that wasn't enough, you, as a premium member, you get 2 hours early access to the hall. So what happens on Saturday is we people who are posting artwork to their booths can't post anything after 10 a.m. in the morning, because at 11 a.m. the hall's open to premium members. And then you can see right there at 1 o'clock on Saturday, it opens up to everybody. So premium members get that 2 hour early access. And the reason we stop,
yeah,
it is. I mean, we'll
really
almost
is.
every show there'll be about $400,000 in sales in the first 2 hours of the show, and and that makes, so that could make up 25 to 35% of the total sales that'll happen over the weekend, and it goes to people having that early access. It's like having a VIP pass to a,
I was gonna say,
yeah, for $35 too. You don't want to miss out on a piece that that you're going to be kicking yourself over for just the 3-month rate that you could get.
Right, because we make it a point of leaving the sold artwork up there, so that if you didn't pay and you come in
I like that part
at 1 o'clock, you'll get to see what you missed out on. And the reason we lock it down at 10 o'clock is because we also have, it's Art Scout now. It's our utility that allows us to send out want list alerts to buyers 24/7. That's part of the Art Scout keywords.
Cool.
But when we lock the booth down at 10, we actually run a procedure to populate every premium member's Art Scout alerts. They're because you can have 50 keywords as your in your Art Scout keyword set, and we actually queue all those up. So Tyler, maybe you're going to have hits on 10 keywords, and Dustin, you might have hits on 30. And we send out an email right at 10:30 to all premium members who have hits on their keywords, and they can actually go even before the hall opens to them at 11 and scan everything that's going to be available, matching their Art Scout keywords. And trust me, people are and they can't click on anything. Well, they can, but the hall isn't open, so it's like they have to sit there and wait until 11 o'clock. So it gives them 30 minutes to kind of set a plan of attack.
Window shop,
and I can tell you, like in the first 5 to 10 minutes,
refresh.
Everybody is hitting the site and trying to buy art. And it's fun to watch it virtually, because I sit there on like Google Analytics and I get to watch the numbers start creeping up. There's 500 people on your site all at one time. There's 700 people. There's 1,200 people, and you just watch, and at any given moment, and there's just a huge peak right there as it leads up to that 11 o'clock art drop for premium members. So.
That's a good way to put it, Rich. Danny.
The starter's pistol. Exactly. Now on Sunday, anybody who's an exhibitor, they can post a total of 48 artworks for sale. But we make it in 2 art drops, 24 pieces on Saturday and 24 pieces on Sunday. And we always tell people, put your best stuff on Saturday, because that's where premium members have that 2 hour window, and we want the premium members to have the access to the best stuff. Because on Sunday, the hall never closes. Once it opens to everybody at 1 o'clock on Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, it stays open until 10 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. And so what happens on the Sunday art drop, same thing. We actually lock the booth from posting to Sunday at 10 a.m. so we can run those keywords again. Premium members get an updated list of all the things that match that are going to drop on Sunday. 30 minutes before the drop actually happens. But when the drop does happen at 11, it is available to everybody. But the premium members at least had a preview of everything that's going to drop.
Knowing exactly,
keywords. And so they have the leg up to go and find stuff. So, we didn't have that concept in the first couple of shows, but we would see a big drop off on Sunday attendance, right? So this gives us the ability to have, say, 5,000 pieces of art drop on Saturday, and then another 2,500 pieces of art drop on Sunday. So there's still a lot to see.
Smart.
Yeah. And then the panels run, pretty much the entire weekend. They start at, I think we're going to start at 2 o'clock on Saturday, although I don't know if that one's scheduled yet. I know we're booked from 3 to 6, then 7 to 9, and then 9 until probably 10:30 on Saturday. We got a couple art shows. We have one panel that's going to be all about animation art. And I should have had the list in front of me, but I don't think I have it.
You're such a good interviewer, Bill. That was my next question for you, was the panel list. And you're like, man, you went right.
Well, in the early days, I did them all, or did almost them all. Well, I can't even say I didn't. That's not true, because even from the very beginning, I had people who were helping. There was John Suntress had helped me in the first couple shows. Mark Walters would do a couple panels, but we would do a 12-panel weekend, and I would do 8 or 9 of them myself, and it was a lot. So I'm doing that and handling support, for people who might be having issues with getting in, or their premium membership didn't take. Because the thing that drives me the most crazy, I'll say this right now,
I was going to ask you this.
Planning on going, people, if you want to be early, or you want to, because the thing is, more people pay for their premium membership to get the 2-hour early access than they pay for it to be an exhibitor. And I can't tell you how many people come to the site at 5 till 11 a.m. on Saturday and pay for their premium membership and wonder why they can't get in at 11, because their cookies don't update immediately. They're all freaking out. And even with if you're going to go 35 for 3 months, buy it a week in advance. Buy it tonight, everybody. Do it now, so you don't have to
time like
go
the
through this
present
headache of worrying about your account updating properly. So but that's a small pet peeve to have, because it's only that one rush.
No. We charge a premium for premium
That's
memberships
fair,
for good buddies. So Seth, you get no discount. So, well, that was my next question, because I was going to ask you how many. I mean, the week before, do you see just like a huge uptick in memberships, or?
Oh yeah. It's May and November are our biggest membership renewal months. And all because of Comic Art Live, right? I mean, we literally doubled the number of premium memberships we had in the first 2 years of Comic Art Live, because everybody wanted that early access to the show. And it's funny, being a premium member gives you a lot of features on CAF: larger images, the ability to follow more people, get more keywords in your Art Scout list, have post art for sale in the classifieds where you're not even charged a commission. I mean, you name it, the benefits of premium membership are huge. Not only, but you're also supporting us. But it took that 2-hour early access to be the thing that helped propel us to a point of, if you can get but it's the way of our hobby, right? I mean, back in the day when people would mail out their like the Comic Buyer's Guide was where a lot of early collectors would buy their art, and that was a weekly publication, like a newspaper. People would pay for the overnight so they could get it 2 days or 24 hours faster than the people who didn't pay for the overnight shipping on it. So we all want a competitive edge. And if that's what it takes to make you go premium, I'm okay with it. There's a lot of other benefits that are just as good, if not better than that. But when you think about that kind of whole goes hand in hand with what like the Art Scout product is. I mean, we were crawling websites long before there was Comic Art Tracker, 5 years before that they even had a product. And I mean, but I didn't know that. I didn't promote it. I mean, but it was there, and who were benefiting from it were the premium members. The reason we didn't need to promote it was because we've built over 30 art dealer websites, and we host them all. And so we have, the moment Berkey adds a piece of art to his site for sale, it's immediately populated in our central search, and anyone who's a premium member with a keyword match on that is notified in the first 5 minutes of that artwork being dropped on Mike's site that this piece is available for sale. So we continued to crawl websites all along. We just our focus became on like, this is actually a better service, because being able to build dealer sites and host them and have access to their data in real time, far superior to any web crawler of in our community. I mean, nothing against Comic Art Tracker. It's a wonderful thing. But at the end of the day, we because we not only crawl websites and have over 150 in our list, hosting the 30 that we directly work with gives anybody who's a premium member a leg up. So if buying the premium membership to get 2 hours early access twice a year to Comic Art Live, if that wasn't enough, we are helping you buy artwork 24/7. Before everybody else. I mean, I got dealers that come to me and say, man, I'm doing such a great job selling artwork. We're selling everything in the first 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, that's because we're pushing out your I'm getting pinged, like Glenn Brunswick, whenever he does an art drop. I am notified through the app, and the push notifications there before Glenn even has a chance to send out his PR email.
Oh, really?
And so
it's works.
Because the products that we built are that real time, and if you're not a premium member, you're not aware of that. But okay,
one of the features. the dealer section that you have down there too, because there's lots of art that some of these art dealers drop that sell so fast that you don't even get to see what the price was for it. So if you come to, I always come to ComicArtFans and look at dealers and actually be able to see the art and see kind of how it's priced and to kick myself for not being quicker or for like saying, well, that wasn't in my price range anyway. But it's such a neat feature just to kind of archive what the sales are
Yeah.
and what the dealers are dropping and who's doing the frequent drops there. So
exactly. Well, we've been hosting. I mean, I've hosted dealer sites since 2005, and we have all of their sales history. I have Albert Moy sales back to whenever I first launched the site, maybe 06. So 20 years of sales.
Yeah.
That no, and you know, and they're real sales because we only put things in our market data when a dealer, because we have auction market data and we have dealer market data. And for the dealers, we only count a sale if the dealer actually marks it as sold. You know, where if they
so no on hold,
whatever. You know, there's some other services out there that say this piece might have been sold. We know it. Our data is 100% accurate. At least you know, at least as far as like what the asking price was when the dealer marked it as sold. I mean, it might have been a $5,000 piece that they ended up selling for, I don't know, 4,500. We don't know the 4,500 part, but we know that when it was sold, it was being offered at $5,000 because that's the price it was when it was in our database. And we only put stuff in our market data for dealers when something's marked as sold. If they make it inactive, delete it, whatever, it doesn't go into our market data. So yeah, I mean, we have a rich product there that nobody else has access to. If people knew that they could literally search all of Ramita Mance and Anthony's and Albert's and Glenn and Will and all the reps, Felix.
Yeah, there's so many of them. Yeah. I know, it's hard to name them all.
Ziggy, you know, point is that, you know, we have all of their sales data from beginning of time, and they love it. The dealers are pretty competitive. I can tell you that when we write our dealer market report, they're checking to see were they the number one sales guy. And if we're late to post it, I get a few emails like, so when are you posting the comment?
We gotta get it.
It's competitive. But all of that, you know, having the ability to look at that sales data, that sales history helps you make informed decisions when you're buying artwork.
100%.
100%. Yes.
So, you know, it's part of our subscription service, but at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's a very valuable tool. And that's kind of, and these are all the things like as new collectors, and you know, when I started it, I wished we would have had. There was nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing like what we have today. The ability to do research over at Heritage or whatnot. I mean, while it's a little bit harder to kind of get into the hobby because of pricing, the truth is that, you know, there's more tools out there today to make good purchasing decisions and than we ever had when we got started. So
I was gonna say, as a new collector myself, like I'm only a few years in and I have like a good handful of pieces now, but like talking with people like Dustin who've been doing it for years or other people, but like you said, also just having access to CAF and the tools that it has and other websites, like you said, it's never been easier to better understand the market and how things are going currently for whatever artist you're looking at or how things are selling for. So it's incredibly helpful. Like you said, to make informed decisions, especially to be able to still work within a budget that you have, to be able to say, okay, I can get this piece, you know, because of this, you know, such and such reason. So.
Exactly. No, I mean, it's, we do a lot. We need to do better jobs of, you know, communicating all the things that we do and have. And the new website, we certainly have put a lot more information out there that at least conveys, you know, a lot of the services and things that we have available to collectors. And we still have a lot of work to do, but we're getting there, you know, and I think that, and that's why the next few years are just, you know, it's always going to be exciting around here because we're always looking at how can we make the hobby more accessible and bringing new collectors. I mean, CAF still has to this day between 25 and 30 people registered for an account every single day. And I mean, that doesn't, I mean, it is a lot. It is a wow.
Yeah.
So, you know, between 8 and 9,000 people registering for the site every year. I mean, you know,
that's
this
really
is a pretty small community at the end of the day, but that really is
it
where
just
we're
keeps
at.
growing, just keeps going. I mean, that's the incredible part about it, because I mean, the more people that get involved with it, the more bigger events like what you're fixing. Well, I said what we're fixing to put on. What you're fixing. I have no participation in Comic Art Live other than a fan, but what you're
A
about to put
viewer,
on,
yeah, a
yeah,
buyer.
So I mean, the more people that get involved in this hobby, the more people that'll want to participate in this, the more that'll want to set up booths, the more they want to get memberships. And it's kind of crazy. You said that there's kind of an influx of memberships for May and November, and if you add those two prices together for like $5 more, you can get the annual membership that
I know. I've never
lasts the full
understood it.
year.
One of these
Yeah.
days, I'm gonna make that 3-month one. If you buy it twice, it's gonna cost more than an annual membership. 'Cause then they'll get the
And
hint.
they'll
Come
have
on,
to.
Yes.
you know, what's $5 at this point? But they're
Right.
ever since we started, you know, we did have a like the $35 tier, and every show, like 60, 75 people go $35 versus just going 75 for a full year. I get it. You know, I mean, in this hobby, a lot of
Every penny counts.
people would
Yeah,
rather be
so-
spending their money on art than on a
Right.
membership to CAF. But it's like a ticket, so they see it as their
Yeah.
you know, that's
Yeah.
their entry, right?
The
That's their
entrance,
VIP
yeah.
entry. And again, that's where it's back to, if that's what it takes to that's something you see value in, and you see the value in supporting our work, then I'm okay with that. You know,
Well, I think it's yeah. Well, I think that approach is so, because like you said, I am yeah. That's like you said, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, we're going to Heroes, so it's like we're getting Dustin, myself, another person, we're bunking in a room together because it's like we can cut down on cost. That just goes right back into the art that we like to get at the show itself. So, but I like it and appreciate it because it goes back to, again, what you've talked about all along, is that for you, it's not about the money, it's about the hobby itself and collecting and stuff. And obviously, you're still a business. You still are looking to, you know, make money to run the site, to help artists, to support them and everything and stuff. But so I appreciate and like that balance of you saying like, look, it's been 35, you know, yes, maybe eventually we'll make it. So you know, it's like, all right, well, let's just get the annual, you know, kind of a deal. But I
Right.
appreciate hearing those kinds of, you know, informed decisions or thoughts that you're making with, you know, in regards to the collectors and stuff, and the things that you try to do to make it as accessible or as easy as possible.
Right, it's
So
free. It's free to attend, right? I mean, that's the thing. If you don't want to pay for premium membership, you can wait till 1 o'clock on Saturday and get in and buy our work just like everybody else, and that's all right. But you know, that's why we get, like I said, like 28,000 people came to the show in November, and I mean, I'd be elated if we can hit 30,000 this weekend. It'll be great. I mean, we've put a lot of effort into it, but I saw Alberto wanting. Did I give you? I can tell you, we have a show with Daniel Scott from Scott's Collectibles from 3 to 4 on Saturday. I've actually never talked with Dan before. I mean, I've emailed with him.
Oh, really?
But he'll be doing an art drop, so that's 3 to 4. Anthony actually is gonna. There's another an in-person show on Sunday called Graphics Con in New York, and Anthony is our usual kickoff on Sunday at noon. But Anthony's set up there, so he's going to do a 4 to 5 panel on Saturday, and that'll be a warehouse sale like he usually does. Then Matt DiTullio will be doing an animation art panel from 5 to 6.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then and that's more not sale on that one, but it's going to be talking about collecting animation art, because that's something, you know, we launched A2X Animation Art Expo this year inside OAX, and so we're going to be getting more and more into animation art. Tomorrow night, DiTullio, Tatiana, and a few others are going to be joining some folks from Heritage and doing a big preview for their anime, manga, animation signature auction that's happening this upcoming weekend. So, you know, we're trying to lean into that area and just kind of make collectors aware that there's more than just you know, the standard
show feel.
No, I love that, because that was a big thing for me at OAX, was like the game art and the animation art, like getting to go to the Heritage section and see some of those original cells for Dragon Ball Z or like, you know, animated Disney films and stuff like that. That stuff is so cool and so interesting. So I really appreciate that y'all are including that. Like, it's art in and of itself. It's like, yes, it's comic book art, but it's more, you know, there's so much more that is out there for people to discover. So
true. Yeah, and again, so many other I mean, we're collectors at the end of the day, but the thing is art. I mean, and we shouldn't like limit our focus just to one thing. Everybody can appreciate art, even if it's not something. You know, I love illustration art. It may not be but you can look at it and enjoy it, and maybe want to learn a little bit more about it. And that's what tomorrow night's show is about. But here, let me finish off with Alberto here. Japan Comic Art Expo on Saturday. we've written it down as 7 to 9. I don't think it's going to go 2 hours, but you never know. And then we'll have the next comic art sales show at 9 p.m. And I know, Jiggy told me before the show what the theme was. I think it's the Ultimate Universe. It's either Ultimate Universe or Absolute Universe characters. So it's Marvel, DC from either of those things. So that's the theme.
Very cool.
For the art drop.
It's a good theme.
We have Paulo Rivera will be back on Sunday, and we have a Bart Sears show from 2 to 3 on Sunday. Kazer's going to be talking. He's actually got a 2-hour window where he's going to be talking about IC3 at Jacksonville, having on a lot of the artist guests that are going to that show as well. So it gives us a good opportunity to talk about not only IC3 but what's going to be going on at Jacksonville as well. And I'm quite certain that we're going to fill a few other gaps in there, and have a big weekend. But there you go, Alberto. That was the panels as they are today.
Thank you, Alberto.
Because I appreciate that.
I was wondering about that too, so appreciate that. But you mentioned Matt and Tatiana. I wanted to give them props too for the job they did at the OAX auction. That was not an easy job what they did there, and they did a really incredible job. Just kind of being the ringleaders for the auction, and we hadn't mentioned them yet on the show, but I wanted to make sure and give them props.
Oh yeah, they hosted the second auction and did so well. We had to have them do the third one too. First year we had Jimmy Palmiotti and Nick Barucci, and they as a first pass, they did the best. They did a very good job, having little direction and us not knowing what the hell we were doing. It did last a little bit longer than we had hoped. In that first one, but at the end of the day, we got through it. It ended up being great. I mean, it was. We've always outperformed, what we thought our expectations would be. Even in this last auction, I kind of had numbers in my mind about what we could do, and we did so much better than that. And it just comes back to the artists are creating great work, and we're moving over to OAX here, but the artists see that they can actually get a great return for an investment in a piece that they put time into, and they know that that it's not going to sell for $800. It's going to go for $4,000 at our auctions.
Right.
But I do want to, we mentioned Mystery Sketch earlier, and we didn't talk a ton about that. I don't know.
I did want to highlight that a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. Mystery Sketch started. I think this is our 6th. Yeah, I think it's our 6th time we're doing Mystery Sketch. I could be wrong. If Colin were here, he'd be able to correct me. It was one of our November shows. But it came about as just as an idea to how can we get commissions for artists. And so what a mystery sketch is you're buying an option to get a commission where you get to say what character you want. It's either on a sketch card that is a Comic Art Live sketch card now, or a 9x12. So you say what character you want, but you don't know which artists you're going to get assigned to. And this time around, we have 110 artists that are participating in it. Wow. We've already sold over 483. So, most artists are getting at least 4 commissions that they'll be tackling. And did we hit 500? I actually haven't been looking since the show started how many sales we've got.
Yeah, I need to go back and refresh.
But the fun thing is that the artists have really kind of making sure that the work is really strong, because we're doing a lot of promotion throughout it. We're having the artists on to announce them. Sometimes we do shows with them throughout the weekend. The kickoff event on Friday at 9:00 is really mostly about Mystery Sketch, because the artists that are doing Mystery Sketch are on, they're drawing. We're just having a pretty relaxed Friday evening before all hell breaks loose in the morning. And but so the artists they always outdo themselves. Like I'd say like 85% of the pieces that are done, maybe 90. It's a high number. Where it's like, that's not a $200 piece. That's a $250. That's $300.
Yeah, that's more than that. Yeah.
The artists, because they know that they're getting a lot of traction. They're getting the art seen by a whole new different audience of potential buyers. And it really is a great opportunity, for them. And like I said, the majority of the revenue, I mean, by far, goes to the artists. And that was really the idea. We wanted to pre-sell. It might have hurt the commission opportunities that the artists have during the weekend. But we're putting so much, we're putting so many sales out there and in their pockets before the show starts. It just works really well. And again, you as a collector then are exposed to, if you get a piece from an artist that, I've gotten a few pieces from Yoshi's artists. So I've got things from people who I might not have ever thought of buying something from before. but that's great. And the cool thing is then other people see, like, say John O'More. John O'More is somebody that kind of, not a lot of people knew a lot about over at Next Comic Art. The last 2 years, with the mystery sketch category and the best of awards that we do through CAF, he's won the best mystery sketch, award 2 years in a row. So there's a lot of emphasis that we've put on this as an art type. It's tied to Cal. It's tied to our annual awards, and the artists put a lot of more time into the pieces. I mean, I've gotten to see previews of stuff that I wish I got. So and I get to open them all, open a lot of them here on the channel, and get to see them in person. But so Mystery Sketch is just a really fun event. I mean, we mentioned it earlier. We sold 409 in November, and we're already at 483. And if the sales continue like they did last year, it would be over 550. So
when they continue, Bill. We're going to be positive about this.
When, not if.
But think about that. That's what, a 30% increase from months ago. That's huge. I mean, big, the economy isn't the greatest right now, right? I mean, there's a lot of apprehension out there, but people see this as something that benefits artists, benefits CAF, is fun, and and again, it really works well for everybody. I mean, the artists get that extra exposure, and I just it's one of the most fun things that we do here at CAF is the mystery sketch.
And if that all wasn't enough too, I mean, there's giveaways associated.
I was going to say, the giveaways.
That's what I was going to bring it back up later on. So I couldn't believe that you all were giving away stuff on top of some of these amazing pieces.
Well, so, a lot of it was from the artists participating, or the reps that gave contributed stuff. We've always had kind of artwork that we've had on hand to be able to give out for varying reasons. So I mean, we want to make it fun. I mean, why not? There's so many different ways you can pursue the hobby. Ours is always going to be one that spreads joy, that educates the consumers, hopefully, clearly puts money in the pockets of the artists that work with us. And again, it's back to the whole everyone needs to win mantra. I mean, we want to win too, of course, but the thing is, we want everybody around us to win as well. And so, and most businesses don't operate that way. And again, that kind of just ties back to the Public Benefit Corp. We're trying to make sure that we spread the word and the importance of this stuff, and make everyone really happy and successful at the same time.
And you did
Colin says, there we go. I knew, see Colin's out there, November 2022. So that would make what? Is this our, I guess this is our 6th? No, this is our 8th. I don't even know what the hell that would mean.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I guess it's 8. Yeah. So okay, 8, our 8th one. So it's
impressive.
It's grown a lot. Yeah. When we started, I think the first time we only had like 120 sales, and then maybe 200 sales. So to be at a potential over 500, 550 sales, I don't want to jinx it, is really gratifying. And the sketch cards helped when we brought the sketch card option in there. Sketch cards are a thing. I mean, we had CAX has been a part of OAX since we started, so it's been a focus of ours for a while. It's a low dollar entry point for people who want to start collecting original art, and it doesn't take up as much space. Your portfolio is much smaller. You need a trading card binder, and away you go. Right? You don't need to have to buy Itoyas and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really. I had a few sketch cards that were gifts over the years, but I probably have about 70 sketch cards now, just
That's
from
awesome.
not just for mystery sketch, but I've been picking them up pre-OAX as well. And so it's all about making sure that anyone who wants to own art should be able to. And if it's a small sketch card, or you're only up for a 9x12 at 200 plus shipping, then we're helping grow the base of collectors, one at a time. And we're just one of many touch points that people have with that. Heroes is a great show for exposing people to artists and indie artists as well. So we just want to play our part in ensuring that everyone wins.
Well, I think it's awesome. I think it's a cool thing because one of the things, like when I looked at OAX at first, I was maybe a bit hesitant and concerned that, again, being a newer collector, being somebody who's younger, that it might not be my crowd, it might not be my scene, it might be way out of my ballpark, I might be in over my head. So it was really nice to know that that wasn't the case with OAX. that it was, you get the free sketch card. There's tons of artists offering, a wide variety, a range of prices for original art and stuff. So I greatly appreciate somebody who's still, new to it and not, again, you get to like, you raise your price, kind of a deal. You buy a bigger and bigger piece, kind of a way it goes. But I appreciate having those options. I appreciate having like the sketch cards and that kind of stuff for, like you said, people to be able to go, look, you can access this from this point or this point. Like, as long as you're involved in it, then that's the main thing. So
oh, very, very true. And what other show can have a free sketch hour, sketch and signature hour? No one, but OAX. And and for those of you who aren't familiar with Comic Art Live too, since we're still sort of looking at Mystery Sketch here, Comic Art Live is hosted on ComicArtFans. So you'll go to ComicArtFans over the weekend, and you'll have a lot of entry points to get into the Comic Art Live virtual halls, and there'll be clear, easy access to get to the panels if you want to watch panels over the weekend. But it is a virtual show hosted within ComicArtFans.com. But no, I'm totally with you, Tyler. I mean, the idea is, art is something that every single human being can appreciate. We grow up drawing with crayons. We're all creatives at heart, from caveman to now. And we all appreciate art. Art is like the only thing in all of pop culture that you can share with any member of your family, and they're not going to look at it and say, well, they might think, why are you collecting Superman on sketch cards? But they can look at it and say, that's a pretty nice drawing, But if you hand them a comic book, or you hand them a statue or a Funko Pop, totally different, animal, and not the same thing. This is actually something you can share with pretty much anyone and at least they get it. And so, and which is why it's so weird that it's, out of all pop culture, collectible kind of niches that you can get into, it's the one that has the least amount of collectors in it. But I mean, it's probably to our advantage because it keeps the prices down, even though they're high. But I think it all stems back to, I think, growing up, you think you can't own art, right? Art is only for people who have a lot of money. And even if it's a pen and ink illustration, you grow up with a stigma that you can't own something like that, and you never break that mindset. Unfortunately, I mean, it's just just kind of, I think, what we need to get past, and I think that's sort of what we're doing here.
Well, no, and especially by offering the sketch cards. I mean, again, like you said, like, at a certain point, people might dismiss or go, "Oh, it's just a sketch card." Like, no, like that's the art. That's part of it. Doesn't matter if it's a 2x2 sketch card. Doesn't matter if it's a 20-foot painting. Like, everyone starts somewhere, kind of a deal. And it's easy to go on CAF and go, "Wow, look at all these, massive collections and everything." But everyone started with one piece and then bought another piece and bought another piece and worked their way up. So, and I was going to say, I did this my first year. So I bought a sketch card just today. I finally got my sketch card in for this year. So I'm excited to see who I get from that. So
awesome. Yeah, I saw Seth's Comics one. What are the final giveaway items? They're 3 pieces. We just scrolled past them, but they are an 11x17 Lobo that's edge to edge drawn by Julia Cabrera. And the Captain Britain is by Mannix, who, anybody who's not familiar with, get familiar with Mannix. I mean, wait a minute, I got the pieces.
I was gonna say, Dustin just got a piece from OAX himself. So
I've got so you're looking at it. There's the logo. Look at it, it's almost the same size. So there's that piece from Julia Cabrera. Then the Mannix piece. It's hard to see.
I love his colors. I love his colors.
Crazy? Yeah, that's awesome. So that's Mannix. So that's like on 6x8. It's kind of a heavy, forget what he calls it, but it's heavier than watercolor paper.
His paper quality is really nice.
Yep. And then we have a sketch card by who was this one by? This was by
I was gonna say
Jethro Morales. So all 3 artists are from Next Comic Art, and it's done on the Comic Art Live stock that
I love those.
Yeah, this is 2025. So all the ones that are getting done by artists right now are going on the 2026 stock. So we'll do the drawing for those 3 final pieces on Friday night's kickoff show. So
it says May 15th by 8 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. Eastern time on May 15th to be eligible for the.
I would have linked it. Well, I'll link it as soon as I haven't created the the show record for it yet, but it'll be
Gotcha.
on the kickoff show at 9 p.m. And we usually do it right at the beginning because I have to actually keep downloading reports to get all the names in the hat. So I have to have a cutoff point. So like by 10 to 9, if you haven't bought your mystery sketch on Friday night, you're not going to be in the drawing for this because I have to have that cutoff point.
So get the premium membership in tonight. Get the sketch card. Get the sketch in tonight, people.
Mm-hmm.
So you also, if you get a mystery, or if you get one of the sketch cards, you get a second blank.
You get a
card
blank
too. So okay, that's a pretty cool feature too for people that are
starting
sketch card collecting. So
because it gives now you have it, now you can take it to a show, go to free comic book day at a shop that has some artists at it. You get that extra sketch card as well. So again, we're just trying to we're trying to keep things fun, interesting. We want to give you things to think about. I mean, and if you don't get that extra sketch card, you might now you've got a reason to get a sketch from somebody. Even if you're the one that draws on it, okay, that's fine. But yeah, so you get it. I mean, we're enjoying it. So yeah, you're on CAF right now, but that Comic Art Live menu will have a lot more links in it when the show launches. It'll have links to artists who are taking commissions. During Comic Art Live, as long as you're logged in, you can save artwork. I can't. I'm not going to show it to you, but when you're in the halls, you can actually click on a heart icon that will allow you to kind of essentially like placing your own bookmarks on things that you may want to buy. And so there's a page that shows you everything that you've saved, which is just super useful because you can go back to it any time. If something is sold, it'll be marked as sold, even on your list of saved artwork. So you know what's still available or what isn't. And the cool thing is that once you've saved it, so you should save a lot. I mean, go in there and I mean, if you like 50 artworks, save them all, because the exhibitors know this. There's a count in their interface where, like, if 10 people saved, this Red Hulk sketch card, they don't see who saved it, but they know that 10 people did. They can drop the price on this and blindly send you the 10 people an email. So they don't know who the emails are going to, but they have the ability to remarket to people who've saved the artworks. And so we gave the sellers tools to sell better. And I guarantee you it's worked for me. I've gotten a few of these because people will drop their price Saturday night on the Saturday drop. They'll leave it at the regular price, and people can make offers throughout the all that stuff, all the standard haggling you're used to doing. But people will drop the prices on Saturday, even start sending out emails then. Certainly by Sunday, when they've dropped maybe prices and everything in both Saturday and Sunday drops, they're sending out emails as well. So that's all. And I think we're always looking for better ways to help sellers sell and buyers find things that they want to get. But liking, the artworks, hearting each individual artwork that you like is like key to your weekend while you're on CAF. You have to be logged in to do it though. So always remember that.
Well, someone
that's
asked,
good to know. Yeah.
Tyler, do you mind saying? Or is this
I responded. Yeah, the Cosby. I'm a sucker for Iron Man. So
okay, I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like my go-to comic book character from Ask For. So yeah, excited to see. There's a lot of options there. So
you give a specific armor when you select.
I debated it. I almost did that, but I was like, maybe I'll just leave it up to them and which armor vibes with them, kind of a deal. So
it's not a bad way to go. A lot of times you could just say artist choice on the armor because Bob Layton has done them in the past, but he might always pick whatever his favorite armor to draw is, right? But but no, I get it. That's an interesting character to pick. But a lot of people are very specific. I don't read every assignment that comes in, but I'm glancing at them because I'm the one who hands it. I'm the guy who randomizes the lists and then breaks it up and them out to the artist.
I was curious to how it was kind of handled in terms of like who gets what. So that makes sense. Yeah, it's randomized.
You have to, PayPal handles our orders, so I basically download all the orders, separate them by the 9x12s from the sketch cards, and you can actually add a column and put in a query that puts a random number in it. And so that's my column 1 in the spreadsheet. And then I just keep doing that auto order, lowest to highest, highest to lowest. And it basically shuffles up the whole list And then I've already pre-drawn out. I need to get 5 9x12s to Jiggy. I need to get 6 to Mark. I need to get 1 to Bart Sears. And so I have my numbers in there, and I just go straight down the list. First 5 goes to Jiggy. Next 6 go to Tatiana. And that next 2 go to Ian Cinco. I just do it like that. I want to make sure that it says. And so I don't look at the people's names really. I don't look at the characters. I want to keep it as because who else? I mean, we got to send it to Price Waterhouse or something like that to come up with a more fair way to do it. And we don't have the money to do that or the time. So I'm the guy.
It's random enough.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think it's worked out pretty well. I mean, I'll be honest. If I saw it, when I finally get ready to ship it off, maybe if the only time I've ever made a change is like if I'm sending it like 3 out to an artist, there's only 3 lines in there. If I see Alberto in there twice, I'm like, oh, shoot, okay, I'm not sending. Alberto's not going to be happy to get 2 pieces from the same artist.
Right.
I got to try to figure out. I got to look to another artist that has 3 and pull 1 and put it over there. So I try to do that, and then at some point it might become a little tedious, but where I just can't do it. But that's like the only time I would ever manipulate a list is when something like that, because I've actually accidentally done it, and the artist will be like, do you really think Dan Goodwin wants me to do both of his spirals? And I'm like, oh, shoot, I missed, because I really don't look that close. I should be looking close.
Yeah.
But so the artist pointed out when I screw something like that up, and I'm like, no, take one of those Dan ones out. I'll send it to somebody else, and I'll get you another one. And well, Alberto did order 100 sketch cards, and Alberto's probably not all artists are doing sketch cards, so it's probably impossible. At least to pick different characters. He did have like 4 artist choice from these 4 characters in one batch, and another one where it was these 2 characters, and so at least so at any rate, mystery sketch is a lot of fun. I highly encourage people to give it a try, and again, you're employing artists at the end of the day, and that's really the most important thing. And and if you watch the shows when we do the unboxings, and you follow CAF afterwards when people are posting their mystery sketches to the website, you're really going to get to see a lot of talented creators that you might not think of buying or commissioning art from, and that's really what this is all about. And we're really just grateful for all the artists and reps that participate in it with us, because it, we added, we added Enrizo in last time, and what's the other artist group that we added in this time? I always forget the name. Alter Comics group, and they're in Argentina.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, I was actually told by one of the artist groups, because a lot of the international ones, I send those out early because they have to cobble them together and ship them to us. So we might be doing an unboxing very early, at least by next Thursday, of one of the artist groups, because they had gotten. I pretty much filled them up in the first 2 weeks, because I was like, I just want to make sure they get them done and they get them to us so they're not late. And they're like, we think we're going to be done by Friday, so we're going to have stuff in the mail on Friday or Saturday to you. I'm like,
perfect.
Cool. I love it.
Makes my job easier.
Music to my ears.
So Bill, after we've talked a little bit about the mystery sketch now, but for someone that's maybe their first year exhibiting, first year setting up a booth, what advice do you give to someone that's like brand new into selling art on doing for Comic Art Live?
I mean, the main thing, and is bring new stuff, and and price it well. That's my best advice. A lot of people who have been on CAF for a long time, they wish there was a like move my stuff from my classifieds into the booth. I mean, as of today, I've probably gotten that email 5 times. Why haven't you added a feature to move my stuff over? And I'm like, why would any buyer come to Comic Art Live if they're only going to be looking at stuff they've already seen? And within your booth, because you're premium and you're already selling in the classifieds, we already put a link over to your classifieds. So ideally, you're bringing new stuff to market. Even if you're fishing a little bit and pricing it a little bit higher, whatever. As a collector, that's your, that's fine. You can do that. But I think just bringing new pieces as a collector is always a good thing. And if you're bringing older stuff, stuff that you've had on your classifieds for a while, price it to sell. That's what you're never going to have this many eyeballs on your artwork until the next Comic Art Live. you know, and as far as artists go, you know, I think, you know, a lot of artists will bring, if they're a published artist, they do bring a, you know, a fair amount of published material. But again, save it, you know, bring stuff that's new. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's just like OAX. When, you know, we're
Yeah.
creating an opportunity for us all to work together and give people a lot of reasons to come to the show. The more new material that's posted, the more unique pre-OAX opportunities we have. You see, they all kind of work together. You know, they encourage more
Yep.
people to buy. They encourage more people to check out not only your booth but everybody else's booth. We all are kind of working together in that. So new sellers, just think about, you know, what new material you can bring. That you know, even if it's a super awesome piece that you value more than it's worth, it's okay, because you know, it's you know, fine to bring that. But yeah, that's, I don't know, you know, approach it
That's a
with
good,
the
good
idea that
answer.
you're not
Good
going to
answer.
sell
Good,
anything.
yeah, good
You
advice.
might be surprised. I mean, a lot of people, you know, some people do end up not selling anything. You know, that can happen. And then there's other people who might sell 8 pieces or 12 pieces or, you know, 15, 17 pieces. It all depends on you know, bringing pieces fresh to market. Pieces are always a good thing. You know, they always are going to be attractive and encourage people to buy. What other than that? I mean, uh, well, here's the good thing: your time is not wasted adding the artworks. If unlike the fact that we don't let you populate stuff from your classifieds or your gallery into your booth, when the show is over, you can move items out of your booth into your gallery. So we let you take things that didn't sell and move them into a classifieds folder if that's what you have. So it's
That's
because,
nice. That's a
you
nice
know, the
feature.
idea, you know, I don't want you to waste your time. If you
Yeah.
posted 48 pieces over the weekend, you only sold 4, that's 44 pieces that nobody else has the opportunity to see or buy. So we give you the ability to put those 44 pieces that didn't sell back into your CAF booth and give you the opportunity to sell them again. And so there's that. You know, don't be discouraged if sales don't happen there. You still have the opportunity to get sales afterwards, and we leave that opportunity to move stuff back to your CAF booth for literally 5 months after the show. We don't delete everything, but every show is a reset where we delete every item that was left in there before we start the next show. So you do, you know, you want to move them out if at all possible.
Well, that's very cool.
No,
One of the
that's,
things
yeah.
one of the things that Bill told me whenever I was on his show was also that him and his wife get involved in buying art from the show.
Yeah, I
Which was
do like,
really,
yeah,
really
you
cool thing.
talked about that, yeah.
I've gotten a few pieces over the years. I mean, I want to support the show anyway. I get a lot of mystery sketches. I think probably we own at least, we've bought between 6 and 8 every time. So if we've gone
That's
7, we've got a lot right now. You know, anywhere between 40 and 55 mystery sketches. So but we always buy stuff at the show too, like I mentioned to you, Dustin. We typically try to go in with a budget. You know, Maureen will say, all right, you know, $1,200 is what I'm going to spend. And she typically never does because she's frugal, but she'll find like a Kurt Swan Superman page that only has Clark Kent on it, stuff like that. She's a big Superman fan. So she's bought artwork from Mike Vosberg. She's bought artwork from the Frame Brothers. You know, so she tries to spread it around. She's bought strip art from random art collectors that have stuff. So, you know, she doesn't have like a strict focus on what she buys. And then, you know, like the last show I think I only bought 3 pieces from booths, but they were all from indie artists. So I was like, you know what, I didn't have a lot of money outside of the mystery sketches that we bought to spend on the show floor. So I just made a point of buying 3 pieces that I really liked that were all from indie artists in the Hall Eye. And, you know, but I've spent my biggest purchase ever as a collector happened at Comic Art Live. I bought the end page to Uncanny X-Men 150 by Dave Cockrum and spent
Wow.
a lot of money on that one. Nobody gets to see because we don't have market data for Comic Art Live at this point, and it's probably better that we didn't. And but it was funny. I had to buy it. Well, you know, I had an advantage because I had seen it. I didn't think anybody would go for it because it was so expensive. But I literally, but I still went and bought it after the hall opened for premium members. I went straight to that guy's booth and bought it. And the funny thing was, 2 collectors were able to follow their premium member email and actually contacted the seller before the show even opened and said they wanted it. But because my email was the first one after the hall opened, he let me buy it. So, but that just shows you, as collectors, that leg up is a real leg up, because
absolutely, yes.
I would never have known that premium members are actually utilizing the Art Scout keywords to even one up everybody by going direct to the seller. Because so, anyways, it is what it is. But I'm the proud owner of a really great Dave Cockrum X-Men 150 page, so I'm happy about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool to hear.
And, well, the thing is, you just never know what'll happen. Like Scott Eder is a guy who through his website sells a lot of indie artwork, and I've host his website. I've never had the opportunity or desire to buy anything from him, and he actually had a Daniel Klaus 8-ball page a couple years ago in there, and I waited like an hour or two, and then I finally was like, I'm buying it. And I remember I bought it, I bought it, and then Eder was like, I knew I should have charged more for that. I'm like, I did think it was a little low, Scott, but and that one I don't mind. I spent $6,500 on that page, but it probably even at that time should have been like an $8,000 page, and today is probably more, like $10,000. It's like the one page I have in my collection that I get asked about more than any other to buy.
Wow. That's incredible.
You want to sell that Daniel Klaus piece, Bill? I'm your buyer. I'm like, you gotta get in line, pal.
In line, exactly.
So at any rate, it's good to support the show, in that way as well.
Yeah, and me and Tyler, I think last year we went in saying, the last fall when we went in saying we were just gonna be spectators, we were just kind of looking, and sure enough, we both bought pieces at the show, and you did the Hitch show last fall, the Brian Hitch show, and I think I ended up getting 3 of those pieces. Like I was going in, I thought there's one I liked. I picked them up at OAX, but even if you're going in just to look at art, chances are you're going to find something that you're going to be tempted by at least. There's so much great art that's put out there at these shows.
Definitely. And I can tell you, we will be dropping more Hitch art.
Oh, don't say that. You're killing me, but
he's just awesome. He's been producing a lot of different stuff, and I don't think I'm going to have any like more of his more modern stuff. I know I've got a package coming in from him, but literally, if you were here, Dustin, I have at least 800 pieces that are not available, for sale anywhere.
Oh gosh, worth a trip to Florida.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's tons of I have a lot of his work here, but Brian's great, and he's doing a couple mystery sketch cards for us. He's done that the last couple shows. Redcoat, Carl, I do have some Redcoat pages that I got a couple of those. I think it's from issue. It's either 8. No, I think it's issue 10 with the Annie Oakley, where they do the little duel where they're shooting cards and stuff. I've got like the DPS to that and an interior page. I mean, I want to buy them. They're so freaking awesome.
He's so good.
And the one with the Johnny Appleseed and the giant worm thing, I got like 2 pages from that. So yeah, there'll be some stuff like that. Yeah. Oh no, I know. They're awesome.
I'm right there with you.
But I do love Brian's stuff, and he is such a nice guy. And but there's we'll be able to, over the next few months, I think, be able to announce some cool stuff with him, because he's doing work outside of Ghost Machine these days. He did the Spider-Man Superman alt cover, variant cover. I know there's a project coming up where he's doing all the main covers for Marvel. He's got some cool stuff that he's got doing. He's branching out. Like originally they were only, they talked about just doing Ghost Machine forever, and Brian's too prolific, man. I mean, that's why there's just so much of his work out there. He can't be held back by Ghost Machine.
No. Well, the cool thing about these panels that you do where you sell art, I love that you take an hour or the first half of the panel to actually talk to the artist and kind of do a full-length interview before you get to the sale. I mean, to me, that's worth the price of admission right there, is to be able to hear these guys talk and kind of get some of the insider, thoughts that you do.
Oh yeah, well, it kind of fit. We do that during the panels. We do it during the art sale shows.
Yes.
I mean, in part, it's good to give people time who forgot to get there right at the start to, give them 20, 25 minutes to get in the show. But it's always more fun. I mean, once you get to know somebody, you're more inclined to buy something, right? I mean,
100%.
stop in front of an artist table and I start talking to them, I'm at least going to walk away with a comic book or so, whatever, if they have something, or like, what I'm trying to say. So it's always good to get to know the artists, and the live streams and spending that initial bit of time talking with them is, I mean, I love it. I could sit there and talk with them for hours and not sell anything.
I understand that completely. So
yeah. We've got 4-hour shows on here to prove that when you start talking to some of these artists, and we give them excuses to jump out at any time, but it's just so much fun to talk to them, and they're entertaining by nature. I mean, just the creativity. But I know we are approaching the 2-hour mark. So I want to get your plug in at least. We talked about the indie comic art, ComicArtFans. This is the link tree. Scan on that to get all of Bill's information. But most importantly, I can't go back fast enough.
Oh, there you go.
Which one you wanting?
There we go. Yeah, I was trying to get that. May 16th and May 17th. It kicks off Friday night, May 15th, with the mystery sketch live drawing that Bill started. So make sure and follow and subscribe to the ComicArtFans CAF YouTube channel to make sure you're hooked up for all the channels.
Yep.
CAF Plus.
You'll if you search YouTube for that, it'll come up. And it's not just the panels for this weekend. We do regular programming, like you said, with artist sales. We do the Dueling Dealers show. We do collector interviews. I mean, we do a lot, and we're definitely branching out a bit over this the remainder of the year as well. ComicArtFans.com. Yeah, it's an easy.
It's easy and it's nice. It's so.
We're all comic art fans, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And real quick,
and what is this? Oh, favorite things of the week.
Yeah, we got Bill. Before we go, I know you've only got 3 minutes left before we set you free into the wild. But did you think of a favorite things of the week? This is a segment we do on the show each week when we bring our guest on.
Can one of you say one of yours first? Because
I'll go. I'll buy some time. Yeah. This is what we're watching now in my household. Man on Fire. I don't know if you all are familiar with that TV show.
I added it to my list. Yeah.
Denzel Washington, John Creasy, Denzel Washington played it in the movie back in 2004. This is a remake of it with, I will not butcher this actor's name, but he was Black Manta. He was also in Wonder Man, the new Disney Plus TV show.
He was fantastic in that. Yeah,
did an excellent job. We've watched 6 of the 7 episodes. After this show's over with tonight, we're going to go watch the 7th. But really great job. I recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Very nice.
I'm firing through it, Bill. So I'm trying to keep you.
You can hit next. Yeah.
Okay.
I can say that. Let's see. I've watched the first episode and a half of Daredevil Born Again, and it's not one of my favorite things right now, but I'm trying to find a way to like it. Let's see. I did go to see a movie over the weekend, and why am I blanking on the name of the movie? I have to go from
we're going through the movies by Devil Wears Prada 2. Project Hail Mary.
Oh no, I didn't go see that. I went to see that. What the heck's the movie with the Hail Mary?
Hail Mary. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. I thought it was good. And I went with my daughter Emma, and on Saturday night we were like, what are we gonna do? We could watch TV. I'm like, let's go to a movie. I'm up for a tub of popcorn, And then we went through the whole list, and it was like, but I don't want to see anything. I'm like, the only thing I'm interested in is Project Hail Mary, And so we went to see that, and she loved it. During the show, she's giggling. I mean, she's 21. It's like, I don't hear her giggle unless she's like killing somebody in one of her online games or something, creative play. And here, she's giggling, looking at a little rock alien. At first I thought it was going to be really corny, the way it was being presented. It was actually really good. So there you go.
I love the movie. I actually just finished the book, because I'd been meaning to read it after the movie, and I enjoyed the book. But yeah, I've been itching to watch the movie again. It was super good. So
I think I'm the last person to watch, though. I have not watched that, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers at any cost. But if I get spoiled now, it's my own fault, because it's been out for weeks. And I'm kicking myself for not going to the theater and seeing it. I've not heard anybody watch it.
It was a good.
It's been out for like 2 months now too. I was kind of surprised it was still there. But
I think it's been doing super well. So I think it's been staying there quite a bit. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm an avid moviegoer. I've got my AMC Stubbs A list. I go pretty much 2 to 3 times a month to go see a movie. So this one for me was Mortal Kombat 2. I did not like Mortal Kombat 1. I'd forgotten I watched it. So when I rewatched it, it like all came back to me and I was like, wow, this is a very forgettable movie for me. But I've got to say Mortal Kombat 2 was leagues better. It was super fun and funny, like just an overall fun Mortal Kombat movie. The theater was super fun, getting to see people with shirts and dressed up and everything. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was it was really, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I was like, I'm glad I actually came to see this. So the first I was kind of like, this is probably going to be just as meh as the first one, but I was totally wrong. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, we've got our wrap up segment left here. You're more than welcome to stay for another 5 minutes, or you can jump off because I know
you're 5 more minutes. How's that?
You do 5 more minutes. We'll run through this.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. One thing we do at every show is any of our good buddies that have been on, we try to promote their events coming up. So Derek Laufman will be at the Montreal Comic Arts Festival. It's a free festival. It's coming up this next weekend. So in between CAF or Comic Arts Live, make sure and go visit if you're up in the Montreal area. Say Derek and tell him hi. Fan Expo Denver towards the end of the month. Scotty and Brett will both be there. Go by and say hi to those guys. Toronto Comics Art Festival, another festival that Derek Laufman will be doing. It's the first weekend in June. Another free event between Montreal and Toronto. Some good free events up there in the Canadian area. So go check
it out. Good indie scenes as well, which Derek has pushed for. So
yes, 100%. And then Heroes Con, which is the second week in June, and it's absolutely littered with certified good buddies. And now we know that Bill's going to be there too. He'll be among them. So we've got to get a bunch of stickers printed up. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, Heroes is definitely our home away from home as far as like shows go. I mean, I've gone since the late 90s, and it's definitely my favorite non-OAX show out there. It's a good time. Great city.
Yeah. Love Charlotte.
Charlotte's great. But it was so weird because Heroes was the only con that I went to every year, and I think I told you that whenever I was on the show. But after going to OAX, it's now entered the rotation too. It's got that same artist love feel that Heroes has. So if you love Heroes, I guarantee you will love OAX, which will be in March next year.
Yeah.
So previews. This is just the next 4 guests that we're having on the show. Derek Laufman will be back next week to kick off his new Kickstarter campaign, Wickerson Tales from the Grove. It's going live next Wednesday, so make sure and sign up for that.
Yep.
The week after that, Jonathan Wayshak will be on. He'll be a first-time guest on here. Looking forward to talking to him about all the wonderful art that he's been producing here lately. The week after that, Morgan Beam will be on the show. Got her first IP, The Author Immortal. We'll be discussing that and some of the other art that she's been producing. And we'll have a couple of weeks off for Heroes that we'll be doing Heroes talks with just me and Tyler. For Heroes Con preview and Heroes Con recap. But after we get back from Heroes, Coy Pham will be on along with his podcast partner, Matt Yoakum. So another first-time guest for the show. So really looking forward to talking to Coy as well.
Fun next few weeks,
just a great guy, very talented, love his art. I've had him on the show once.
Oh, I talked to him back and forth in chat, but I've never got to meet him. But he's going to be at Heroes too. So we're actually going to get to meet him and talk to him a few minutes before we get to have him on the show. So another reason to look forward to Heroes. Heroes 2026 potential fan meetup Thursday night at 6 p.m. I think we have the place location. If you go to Scotty Young Art Appreciation Group or Scotty Young Appreciation Group and either message Tyler Laracy, which is the guy up top, Dustin Whitney, myself, we'll get you hooked on to the group message chat that we have that we're kind of picking the times or the actual location. I think we have the location. I'm about to do the reservation. I just want to make sure I have enough numbers. So make sure and contact one of us and we'll make sure and get you signed up for the meetup. So last but not least, if you want to be on Good Buddy Comics to either the chat or even do a Scotty Talk segment with us, please message either Tyler or myself and we'll make it happen. Bill was such a great sport tonight. I know he is so super busy and did not have time for this, but we guarantee if you do go sign up for ComicArtFans.com premium membership, go to the show this weekend, watch the panels, buy art, and support this good man.
Grab the mystery sketches.
Yep. Yes.
Please do. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to talk to everybody tonight, Tyler and Dustin. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to getting to hang out with you guys at Heroes. Kaz and I until Friday morning, so we won't be a part of that. But I do think on Friday evening we're going to that like beer garden place that's not
nice.
too far away. I can't remember the name of that, but it'll probably be after the drink and draw, I imagine, or somewhere around in there. We did that. We did a Thursday get together at Heroes last year, and it was a lot of fun. But I just couldn't swing coming in on Thursday this time around.
Well, Bill, you may not know the legacy. Yeah. We did a Thursday meetup last year too at Buffalo Wild Wings, and it was the worst experience. We enjoyed the company, but the service was so bad. It was like everything that went wrong. There were people having to go up to the bar and get their own beer because the waiter had forgot about them. We were sitting over there. I ordered a salad that had no salad dressing, and I just ate it raw. Like
what solidified it was Scotty was kind enough to make an appearance, and he said it went about as well as he hoped it would for a Scotty meetup. So as long as we got his seal of approval, then that was all that mattered.
Yeah, it was a lot, but we're going to do it again. I think Matt Sardo and Jamie Jones are on the list to come to the Thursday night meetup. So CAF will be represented there in some form or fashion. And
awesome. I like to hear that. All right, guys. Well, then, yeah. Well, I guess I'll see you there next. But enjoy the show this weekend.
Absolutely.
Very much looking forward to it.
Take a look through. If you pick up something, make sure you end up posting it to your CAF gallery.
Oh yeah.
We always hope everybody does that. And wish us well. It's going to be a busy weekend, but it's very rewarding. I'll sleep well on Monday.
I bet you will. All right, Tyler, you want to sign us off for the night then?
Wish you all the best of luck with this weekend, Bill. Thank you everybody for joining with us tonight. Until next weekend, 10-4 good buddies, and we'll catch you all next one.